Now, till this lecture, we have covered 3 different types of linked lists, which are single linked list, circle single linked list, and double linked list. Now, from this lecture, we will start to learn 4th type of linked list, which is circle double linked list. Before diving into the deep, let's quickly recap what's the difference between double linked list and circle double linked list, and why do we need circle double linked list. Okay, from previous lectures, we know that in double linked list, each node has 2 references. So previous reference and next reference. So previous reference points to the node that is located before this node, and the next reference points to the node that is located after this node. So this provides flexibility of traversing forward and backward. This solves the problem of traversing backward that we have in single linked list. But there is a limitation in double linked list. So let's say we have an application that requires to go from last node to the first node. So in case of double linked list, we cannot do that because the last node reference to the null and the first node's previous reference to null. But by using circle double linked list, we can solve this problem, because in case of circle double linked list, the last node points to the first node and the first node's previous reference points to the last node. So this means that when we reach last node, we can easily come to the first node in case of circle double linked list. And similarly, from first node, we can easily go to the last node because the previous reference of first node reference to the last node. Now here you can easily see that the physical location of last node is 333, and in previous reference of first node we have 333. And similarly, the physical location of first node is 001, and the next reference of last node points to this 001 over here. So here we have 001 in the next reference of last node. Now here we have quickly reviewed how a double linked list differs from circle double linked. Okay, let's continue to learn circle double linked list in depth. As before, we will go through the different operations that we performed on other types of linked lists, such as creation, insertion, traversal, searching, and deletion. In this video, we are going to learn how to create circle double linked list. Now, the creation of circle double linked list is very simple. So here, the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to create head and tail references. So in this case, head and tail references are not pointed to any node over here because we don't have any node in our circle double linked list. Now the next step is we are going to create a node in the memory. Now in this case, you see that the physical location of node is 001. So in the next step, we are going to assign a value to this node over here. So for example, in this case, our node's value is 11. Now after doing so, we have to create a link between head and this node and tail and this node, because in this case we have only one node in our circle double linked list. So this means that head and tail has to reference to same node, because this is going to be the first node and this is also last node in our circle double linked list. Now here, to create a link between head and this node, we are going to update the reference of head to the physical location of this node over here. Now the physical location of this node is 001, so if we update head 001, it's going to create a link between head and this node. And similarly, we are going to update tail reference to 001, and it creates a link between tail and this node over here. Now you might be thinking that with this we have done, but we have one last step left, because in case of circle double linked list, as we said, last node has to point to the first node and the first node has to point to the last node. So in this case, we have only one node in our circle double linked list. So this means that this node has to point itself twice. This means that we have to update the next reference of this node to the physical location of itself and previous reference of this node to the physical location of itself. So I'm going to update both references to 001, which is physical location of this node, and this creates a circle like this. Now with this, we have successfully created a circle double linked list in which we have only one node. Now let's see how the algorithm of this creation looks like. Now in this case, algorithm starts with the node value. So we are taking node value as a parameter. Then we are creating a blank node and assigning this node value to this blank node's value. Then after doing so, we are creating a link between this blank node and head and a link between this blank node and tail. So to do so, we are going to set this node to head and this node to tail. Then after doing so, we have to update the next and previous reference of this node to its physical location. So for that, we are going to set node.next is equal to node and node.previous is equal to node. So with this we are creating a link like this. So we are updating the previous reference of this node to its physical location and next reference of this node to its physical location. Then at the end we are terminating our algorithm over here. Now as you see, the creation of circle double linked list is very simple. So based on this algorithm, let's create this circle double linked list in practice. Now here we are going to implement our circle double linked list class, and we will implement various methods inside this class over here. Now here, the first thing that I'm going to do, as always, we are going to create node class. Now in this case, we are going to create circle double linked list. So this means that I need to create Doubly node class over here. So I'm going to name our class like this, Doubly node class.java. Now inside this class, we are going to create properties of double node over here. So in case of single linked list, we were creating just node class. Here we are creating double node class to make it different from single node. So we are going to declare our double node class like this. So we know that in case of single linked list, we have only two properties in our node, which are value and next property. So in case of double linked list, we have three properties: value, next reference, and previous reference. So the same is applicable for circle double linked list as well. So I'm going to create it like this: integer value, then public double node next, and then we are going to create previous reference over here. So these are the type of double node, because in this case these are going to reference to the next and previous nodes over here. Now the next step that we are going to do, we are going to create circle double linked list class. So here I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to name it CircularDoublyLinkedList, and inside this file I'm going to create our circle double linked list class. So I will declare the class like this. So inside this class, the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to create our head and tail references and size of this circle double linked list over here. So I'm going to create our head like this. So this is going to be type of double node because it's going to reference to node. Then we are going to create tail. So it's going to be tail. So we need to create extra variable over here, which will keep the size of circle double linked list. So I'm going to create size as a type of integer. Now then we are going to continue to create a method which is responsible for creating circle double linked list. So here I'm going to do like this: create circle double linked list, then declare our method like this. So this method will return double node because it's going to return head. So head is the type of double node. So that's why I'm going to just copy double node from here. So double node comes from this class that we created over here. So this is going to be the type of double node. Then I'm going to name our method create circle double linked list. So as a parameter, we know that it's going to take the value, so not value. So as a type of this value, I'm going to put integer, because when we are declaring double node over here, we have said that the type of value in double node is integer. So we have to set the parameter over here integer as well. Then we are going to initialize our head and create a node in which we will assign this value that comes from this parameter. So head will be new double node. So here we are initializing our head. Then we are going to create a new node in which we will have this value over here. So double node, let me name it new node, and it will be equal to new double node like this. Then, so I'm going to assign the node value to the value of this new node over here. So it's going to be like this. So as we said before, after creating node and assigning value to it, we need to create a link between head and this node and tail and this node. So for this, I'm going to set new node to head and new node to tail over here. So with this, we are creating a link between head and new node and tail and new node. Then we have to update the next and previous reference of node to itself, because with this, we are creating circle double linked list. So I'm going to do it like this: new node dot next will be new node, and new node dot previous will be new node. So at the end, I'm going to set the size 1, because in this case we are inserting only one element in our double linked list. So this means that the size should be 1. Then at the end, we are going to return head. So after doing so, we have successfully created our method in which we are creating circle double linked list. So let's see how this is working in practice. So inside main class, I'm going to create an instance of circle double linked list class. So it's going to be like this: circle double linked list CDLL. equals new circle double linked list. Then we are going to call our method which is responsible for creating circle double linked list. So create circle double linked list. So as a parameter, I'm going to put 1. Now if we run our code, so you see that our code worked without any error. So how can we check that if it is created a circle double linked list over here or not? So I'm going to print out head value to the console. So if the head value is 1, it means that our circle double linked list is successfully created. So I'm going to print out to the console the value of head. So system out print, here I'm going to put circle double linked list dot head dot value. So if I run our code one more time, you see that in this case it's printed out to the console 1. So this means that our circle double linked list has been successfully created. So everything works the way that we want. Now let's see what's the time and space complexity for creation of circle double linked list. So as we did before, we will start from the first line of this method. So in the first line of this method, we are initializing head and we are creating a new blank node. So these 2 lines of code will take O1 time complexity. Then we are continuing to assigning a value to this newly created node over here, and this also will take O1 time complexity. Then we are creating a link between head and new node and a link between tail and new node. So these 2 lines of code also will take O1 time complexity. Then we are updating the next and previous references of this node. So in this case, we are setting next reference to new node and previous reference to new node. So with this, we are creating a link between itself. And these 2 lines of code will take O1 time complexity. Then at the end, we are setting size to 1, and this one also will take the O1 time complexity, and returning head also will take O1 time complexity. Now, if we combine all these complexities over here, we will get O1 time complexity. Now, similarly, the space complexity is O1 because in this case, whenever we are creating circle double linked list, we are only creating 1 node in our circle double linked list. So this means that it will take O1 time complexity. Now with this, we have come to the end of this lecture. So in this lecture, I have explained you what is circle double linked list and how can we implement it in practice. So hopefully everything is clear about this lecture. So see you in the next lecture.